choice. No pretense, no hidden schemes. Just sports, passion, fueling dreams. From the field to the court, every play that's made. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up, hear the honest sound. Unfiltered sports all year round. Discussions pure, no masquerade. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up. Over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates.
And we are live. SBtalksports Sean Webb, real takes over fake debates. Sean, it is Friday. How you feeling, brother?
Doing good, SB. Friday, man. First of the month.
It's the first of the month. Wake up. See, I'm very excited for this episode. I've been trying to get my boy Calvin on. Shy hoop legend. Played at the university, played at home. I finally caught my man when he had some free time. Very busy man. So I finally caught him. I was like, look, bro, you free today? Hey, come on, bro. I need you for the episode of the pod. So without shadow of a doubt, welcome Calvin Brock to Real Takes Over Fake Debates. Calvin, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you taking the time. Let me put you up there. I ain't important. I can be down. I ain't important. But I appreciate you taking your time out your busy schedule to come join us on the podcast. It's been a long time in the works to get you on. It's NBA season back, so I figured this is the perfect time to get you on. How are you feeling, though, man?
Hey, first of all, thanks for having me, man. Definitely appreciative. I'm a big fan. I try to catch all the lives when I'm not working. You know what I mean? Sometimes I can job. But I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed, man. I'm chilling, living life.
No, I appreciate it. Sean, I meant to tell you, Calvin, remember when I was like one of the couple people who said, Calvin was one of the first people to say, like, bro, why you never let me meet Sean when he was out here? And he was like, I was like, bro, Sean don't live out. He said, bro, y'all talk on the podcast like y'all hang out every day. He was one of the first people to say, he was like, yeah. He was like, y'all got some y'all cooking.
it was I could see the chemistry, and I'm like, oh, they boys. He must live down the street. You know what I mean? When he told me you didn't live in Chicago, I was like, man, that's crazy. The connection y'all have, like y'all could it feel like y'all known each other all y'all lives.
It's real. It's definitely real.
It's definitely real. But we got to get into the show. Salute everybody watching. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe, and also join us on Apple, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. I'm sorry. But Cal, appreciate you taking time up. We got to get right into it. So, like I said, Calvin Brock is a Chicago hoop legend. Played at Simeon. If you played at Simeon, that's you that deal in Chicago. But also not just play at Simeon, you were number 25 at Simeon. So for the people who don't know, what does that truly mean in the honor to wear 25 at Simeon? Like, let the people understand what that means.
So to actually like be honest about the situation, I wear 25 at Simeon.
Bro, I could have sworn I seen a picture you wearing 25 at Simeon, bro.
I wish. I was the number 34. And that was because one of my teammates, when we had moved to Frosthoff, he had grabbed 25 before me. And so I went to 34, which was one of my favorite, like, hooping or sports numbers or whatnot. I didn't have it, but when they talk about, like, some of the Simeon greats, they associate me with the number 25. So that's part of
that's an honor, bro.
That's part of the reason why I have it tattooed on me. But also, my freshman year of college, and I'm jumping ahead, but my freshman year of college, I had number 15. Nick Anderson, Deion Thomas, who also went to Simeon and had number 25. They was like, oh, no, kid. You gotta have 25 at Illinois. And so that's why I changed after my freshman year.
Yeah. 25 million. But you also did, you did play at the U of I, University of Illinois. But see, you was at the University of Illinois at a time where like people was like going crazy over a university. I shout out Io DeSumo. He done brought it back a little bit. But you was there with Luther Head, Darren Williams, D. Brown, Rich McBride. Talk about during that time or playing with the University of Illinois? I know it's probably crazy during that time.
It was. I mean, with the culture that we had in my high school, like we used to winning, so it was only right that I go to U of I, because at that point in time, like, they were not slouches. They were taking care of business on and off the court. It was great, man, dude. It was a great experience. Got to see a lot of different aspects of the game, practicing and playing with those guys. Even though I redshirted, it was still an experience where I grew as an athlete and as a young man. You know what I mean? Like, those guys, like me being from Chicago, two of the top players on the team at the time, Brown and Luther Head, they're my mentors. So like, they helping me grow as a young man, individual, but also getting me better as an athlete.
So because obviously I know I skipped a little college a little bit, because I did me and Sean definitely want to go into your high school time here in Chicago.
Oh, we could go back to it. It don't have to be.
Yeah. Then I have one question though, because like, you was in the Chicago hoop scene and hoop around, so like, it's different, like going outside hooping. Well, we hoop anywhere in Chicago, but you was like hooping with like pros, people. Who was the toughest person, or who was like one of the coldest runs you ever had with in Chicago, period? Or you can do your high school time, college time. What was one of the coldest Chicago runs you had when you play? You was like, oh, we hooping. I'm on the court with these people. Oh, it's going down.
I've been around for a while. I had a lot of good hoop sessions, but with a lot of great players, man. And I played with a lot of great players in a lot of different summer leagues or whatnot. And no disrespect to any of the guys who I played with or some of my boys who I know they got game, but I would say one of my favorite hoop sessions was when I got to play. I did a run at a park on Cermak. It's like 22nd, not Cermak, sorry, State. It's like 20th, 21st and State. One of my teammates, Reginald Robinson, he used to run or open that gym or that park district. Sorry. Yeah. D Rose was up there. Oh, that was my first time going against him since high school. In high school, I ain't gonna lie, like, he taught me. He pulled that belt out a lot of days. You know.
Oh,
respect to him. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite ones, playing against him after like high school and college. Like, I was playing in Europe, and he was. I think he was going to Memphis for his first and only season, but that was probably one of my favorite ones, just going against him again.
So was Derrick Rose the coldest person like you ever played against, or who was the coldest hooper you ever seen? I know like in Chicago, everybody love talking about KG, but KG teammate, why is his name blanking my mind right now? KG teammate from Farragut, who was like cold. Ronnie Fields. Everybody like raved how like cold Ronnie Fields was, and he was like even better than KG. Who was the coldest hooper you ever seen, or Chicago hooper you ever seen?
So, out of all the players I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them, I would say my favorite in person, and my friends, like, they'll tell you, like, he said that and he stuck with it. But my favorite seeing actually in person is Will Bynum.
Will Bynum?
Man, that dude was a nightmare. And I watched Sharon a lot after Will left, because Sharon used to train and work out with him. Okay. And so like a lot of Sharon's game was like Will's. He just didn't have the athleticism, but everything else, man, they were like a splitting image. But Will Bynum, because he was so small in stature, but he held a big presence on the court, man.
Will Bynum was like, wasn't so. It was just like what did Will Bynum do? He would just kill everybody out. You seen him hoop?
He would dominate the matchup, man. Well, I'm not gonna say he dominated the matchup, but if it was a player like alongside him or that he faced against, like, some of them will hold their ground too. You know what I mean? I saw the game when him and Sean Dockery played, and Sean had more points, but Will and Crane ended up winning.
Mm.
But I would just say, like, his light switch was never off. It was always on anytime I saw him play.
No, I do have a question for you because I know I want to get a little more into your career. I know you went overseas.
Yeah.
Get over in Europe and things like that. Can you talk about just the cultural differences in playing overseas versus playing here in the United States and what that was like for you?
I think on the court it was pretty much the same, like bad. I feel like any sport, like fans are gonna be fans no matter where you play that game. I think the big difference was just me seeing different parts of the world and experiencing different cultures. That's what made my years playing in Europe like great for me, because when I first started playing overseas, like Europe, my first week, like I literally cried every day going to bed because I had never left the country before then. So one of my teammates, short story, one of my teammates, my first year came to pick me up. German guy, short, strong, skinhead, but he playing Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, gin and juice. So I'm like, hey, like I'm at home,
Right.
I just think like just experiencing different cultures and seeing different parts of the world was probably the most that I took from my overseas experience. Of course, the basketball is great. It's a different culture with how rowdy they let the crowds get compared to the States. But
man,
I mean, if you love a sport, you love a sport. And so it was love on and off the court.
I ain't gonna lie, like our crowds compared to like overseas crowds, we suck. I'm sorry. Overseas, they are real fans of the team, bro. They be rowdy, bro, in there.
Yeah, dude. My girlfriend, she wanted to see like what a crowd would look like. And so I would send her like Instagram posts of like the arenas like right before they started games. Some basketball games look like soccer games, and the soccer matches in Europe look like it's about to be a gladiator war. Seriously.
They fighting for their life out there.
But them fans dedicated. I loved it.
But also, we'll go back to like the college thing real quick. Yeah. What was one college story you could tell us? Like, it could be one of your, like a game story or a bad practice. What was like your welcome? What they say, welcome to the NBA moment. What was like your welcome to like college moment, or even what overseas? What was your ever like welcome to the pros moment or anything? He was like, oh, okay, this is a little different.
So I'll give you all two stories. One story that stick with me a lot, and I realized like it's not like it's competitive. Like the competitiveness is crazier between the levels that you play sports. So we're in practice and we're running a diamond press. We're running a diamond press, and we end up. Oh no, the defense is running the diamond press on us. It was starters versus the second string guys because it was the day before a game. So I was taking the ball out and I threw a turnover, and Brian Randall caught it at 3-point line. And mind you, Brian Randall like 6'7", 215, freakish athlete. And so like I'm already under the rim and he caught the ball in stride. So he got the momentum coming to the rim.
Oh Lord.
So he was going and I knew I threw the turnover. So I'm like, I gotta contest. Like that was my mental, but that was also what coaches expected. And so he came and I saw he had the edge. I didn't jump. And my coach, like, he got ticked off at me and was cursing me out and made me run the stairs in State Farm Arena, because that's the name of it now at U of I. We were practicing in our arena, so it's State Farm Arena. I had to run up and down the stairs just because I didn't contest, and like that's how I knew.
You want to get dunked on? He bogus.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I just knew he had the edge, but my coaches, they don't care about. It's not saying they don't care about somebody getting injured, but they care if you're not playing hard. And that's when I knew. I'm like, oh, I got to go every play. I got to go hard every play because they looking at every little thing. And second story, my most memorable moment, hands down, would be the Elite Eight game in 04 season to get to the Final Four. Man, All State Arena, like the ground was shaking. That's how crazy those fans were going when we made our run. And just being like it looked like a video game. It looked like you was playing. It looked like you was playing NBA Live, because these dudes just coming down and making play after play after play after play, and it's like at first, like during the game, like we had our hopes down, and not because we didn't think we were going to make a run. It's because we were playing against a great team in Arizona that had 5 NBA players in a starting lineup that year. Channing Frye 6'11", shooting threes like 6 feet back from the 3-point line, and he making those shots. We like, oh no, we not gonna win if they keep hitting like this.
Wait, you played Gil? Gil was on that team, right? Gil, Channing
No.
Frye? That
was later.
That was later. Okay, I know Channing Frye.
It was Mustafa Shakur, Salim Stoudemire, Channing Frye, Radinovich. I know I'm missing. It's like 2 or 3 other guys that were on that team that were like pro prospects and had successful careers overseas. But no, it wasn't Gilbert. I ain't that old. Gilbert played against that team with Corey Bradford, I want to say.
Okay.
Played that Illinois game back in like late 90s, early 2000s.
So obviously we talk about college though, right?
Yeah.
And we got the NIL now. When you was in there, it wasn't NIL at the time. I want you to tell me how you feel about like the NIL in general, that college players are actually getting compensated, which has been well overdue. But how you feel about that?
I think it's great. I think it's great. Just thinking about like, I mean, of course, like the second part is like how much college sports actually generates to a school, to a conference, to even a town. You know what I mean? How much money they bring to a town, like, and especially if you're an athlete well, it doesn't matter if your team is good or not. Like that town or a city is going to support. They're going to have fans. They're going to have people that support them. That's generating money. You know what I mean? I feel like they should get a chunk of it. How I think, like, even before NIL came along, I talked to one of my friends and I told him, I was just thinking about, like, after my career ended injury, I just thought about like athletes who've done it for so long. They get to college, they graduate, and it's tough for them to find a job because the whatever sport, respectively, whatever sport they play, that's all they know. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, why not give the athletes who actually finish school, graduate, get their degree, why not give them like 20 to 25K as a startup, like to figure out what they want to do? Because
I agree with that.
With playing sports all your life, that's all you know. All you know is get up at 6 a.m. go to practice. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm glad they're compensating athletes, but I think it should also extend to those who may not be getting one of these NIL deals. You know what I mean? Like it should cover all athletes and not just the hot ones or the popular ones. You know?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I do want to just ask a follow-up question. Just from an athlete's perspective, are you concerned from an NIL perspective without better regulation from the NCAA with these schools about competitive balance, or just from an athlete's perspective, it's like, hey, get as much as you can. Don't worry about, the competitive balance over the long term.
Yeah. I mean, like every new law, every new order, it's gonna have its pros and its cons. I think for now, like, it's good, but I do see, like you said, some of the red flags in the situation. If proper protocol isn't taking place sooner than later. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like on one side you see like it could be really positive for athletes, but then you also have to take the good with the bad with the good.
Yeah.
And like it could either go south, you know.
Yeah.
I just think it depends on how like officials, coaches, players, lawyers, whoever involved, like how delicate they treat the situation moving forward.
And then, because perfect example of that, I know. Did you see what happened with the guy at UNLV? And it was like he said the school or the assistant promised him X amount of dollars, and then when he got there, they didn't pay him nothing. And that's why I do think, like, because I know you done probably went through that or got stories with other players where they be like, "Oh yeah, if you commit to my school, you guarantee the starting spot." Like people don't talk about like that's like two dark things about like dark side of playing sports. Like people don't talk about like what if you don't make it this far and you've been dedicating your life and all you know is playing this sport. They don't have nothing in place to push athletes to live a regular life. Because this is like, bro, we've been doing something your whole life.
Well, I'm and sorry to cut you off. I can't say is them trying to like is them pushing us to think that we can't live a regular life. I think it's just us being in that schedule and regiment so much and it being drilled in our brains. We think that way. Like the coach is the strings. We the puppet, but for the most part, we wanted to become that puppet.
Yeah.
So we did get to become that puppet.
Yeah. And then the second part I would say was like they also talk about dark side of like these programs and these coaches lying to players. Like now, because now it ain't just like I'm promising you a position. I'm promising you, hey, you're gonna start and we're gonna give you a 100,000 NIL deal with this. So now it's like I'm glad it's coming to light about that because people don't talk about that. Cause I know you probably got a couple boys that was like, yeah, I only committed to the school because they told me I was going to be the starting center or starting PG or I was going to be this in the rotation. And then when you get to the school, it'd be a whole different thing. Like, oh no, you ain't guaranteed nothing, or no, you're not really going here.
So I can't. I mean, I know I have stories, but I can't think of anyone in particular to talk about. I just give my opinion on this situation. I feel like the NIL is basically what coach has been doing before this rule was created. You know what I mean? And it was just basically while they were doing it, just basically like who could be the best at not getting caught. You know, and then you got to think about the teams that are good at it, but they're successful at the same time. So they're not going for all these teams. They let you know that you on thin ice. But as soon as you make a mistake where some get caught up or brought up in the news, everything going down on you. You know, like, I mean, coach has been doing that since who knows when. You know what I mean? Bribes, like even back in the day, it probably wasn't a bribe of money. It was a bribe off living and food every day. You know what I mean? I'm just glad is getting regulated and the athletes are actually getting some compensation for how many millions they bring in to their university or their conference. Because like being an athlete, like I think about this aspect, whereas only men's basketball and football charge for people to attend their events.
Even if you're a student.
None of the other sports charge any money. It's only they only generate money off the basketball and the football team, sales wise, and
that's true.
Everything like that. Like the colleges, they have to split the team with their school, but also split money with their conference. So they're splitting money with their conference, then they split with their school, and then they have their own money, whatever is left over. Dude, do you know how like crazy that sounds?
No, that's crazy.
You know, I'm saying like how much money it has to be for them to do that. Go through those hands, and then the schools still have money to take care of everything and more that they have to take care of.
We talking some M's.
it's a lot of money, and that's why I'm glad like some of these young men and women are getting compensated for it.
One follow up to this, and I know we don't spend all our time on this.
Yeah.
Should former college athletes receive retroactive NIL compensation?
I agree. Okay, I would agree. If I was received any sort of compensation, I would take it. That's just a personal problem. I think, or that's just a personal opinion. Sorry. I think like a lot of the former athletes, like they're fine with just this being the new right now, and they're just happy or overjoyed because athletes are getting compensated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like satisfied with someone retrieving compensation for the blood, sweat, and tears that athletes do, put in the work, the hard work, everything that they put in with their respective universities. So I think more than half, because I mean we've been out of college so long, like shit, we had to figure it out. You know what I mean? Sorry for the swear word.
No, it's okay.
But once you get a certain age, you figure it out. So it's like you loved your college days, but like it was your college days. Like you're not living vicariously through that. Some people do, but for most, like it's kind of like they moved on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of Al Bundys out here, still
talking.
Yeah. So, but we brought up that obviously you was heavy in the Chicago hoop scene, played for Simeon. You also brought up like you played Derrick Rose. Nobody went by them, Sherrod Collins. But Derrick Rose made a strong statement, and me and Sean both was on both sides of it. He said he believed Derrick Rose said he believed Michael Jordan wouldn't have be MJ the GOAT without the Chicago Bulls, because the coach of Chicago, people would be like, I know you probably seen people like, oh, you won one, bet you can't do it. You know how people in Chicago be, how we talk. So do you agree with what Derrick Rose said, or do you disagree?
I don't disagree or agree. I feel like if you have a certain type of mentality, Chicago fans, the Chicago culture, they will notice it, and that's what we love. I feel like they gonna rock with you. D Rose was the same way. You got to be a certain type of competitor to play for any Chicago team, and be successful. And then like the fans, like we gonna be tough on you from the start, but at the end of the day, we gonna love you. You know what I mean? We gonna love you. We gonna be loyal. So I feel like MJ was just such a great competitor. It wouldn't have mattered where he went. Same with D Rose. Same with D Rose. They just so competitive and they work hard, man. They work their butts off. They work their tails off. Like I've witnessed D Rose, you know what I mean? Like, and he don't talk until you get him riled up. Then when you start talking, it get crazier, it get darker,
Hey, you see, they said that the people was getting the Derrick Rose flu.
Man,
is that a real thing? Man, did you see that even like in the Chicago scene with Derrick Rose hooping? Was people getting the Derrick Rose flu for real?
No, Chicago too competitive for anybody on a high school level to ever back down to him. But but when there's money on the line and you in the NBA and you got like a crazy contract and you know this dude going through a thing right now, you might want to sit a lot more than you on that court. And it's like he was just he went hard, dude. Like everything. I tell everybody, I'm like, man, this dude has LeBron athleticism. Like basically like comparing, like he has a jet engine and a Porsche. And a note, like, because he was 6'2", 6'3", but this dude had athleticism like LeBron. And I tell people, I watch highlights of his layups, and them damn near as good as watching anybody highlights of dunks. You know?
Now, Derrick Rose was different. Also, the Derrick Rose flu did happen one time in high school. Brandon Jennings alluded to it when they played them because he went to Oak Hill, and he said the coach scheduled Simeon, and he told the coach, "Don't schedule this game because we gonna lose." And they was undefeated that year. They went right and played Chicago. Derrick Rose put the BTA to them boys.
Yeah,
and Brandon Jennings. See, Brandon Jennings said he's still mad about that loss to this day.
Yeah, I watched that game from time to time. I like the little snippet of the game, like the little documentary they did where they have that game in it. Brandon Jennings, he's a really good high school, college, or not high school, European and professional player. And he was competitive, but he just ran into a beast that he ain't know nothing about. You know what I mean? And like D Rose, 6'3", but he just as athletic and quick. He's just as athletic as any guy taller than him, but just as fast and agile and quick as anybody smaller than him. So like, you got that combo, man. It's crazy, and they didn't know what they were going up against.
Now, speaking of, we was talking about Jordan. I know, all the old heads, especially when our clip is going to be too, like, oh, you met Jordan. So you met Michael Jordan on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the couple times you met Michael Jordan and how it was? At least let's start with the first time you met him.
Yeah. So the first time I met him, I talked about the practice earlier today, and how he was able to get access to our shoot around when no parents were allowed. But I usually would hang out with Jeff Jordan. Between shoot around, we like play video games or something, like just take our mind off things before a game. And so we get to Jeff's crib, and we lived in the same building. He was just a few floors up above me. But we went to his crib, and like his dad was already in there. So it's like, okay, somebody at the front desk let you in, and so you just in here, And so he said, "What's up?" to Jeff, and then he looked at me and he was like, "Calvin?" And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm Calvin. He said, man, I'm gonna need you to start hooping like last year. And I was like, what? It like threw me off because like it's my first time meeting him. So I'm thinking it's his first time meeting me.
Right.
And it was physically, but like he had knew about me before. And for him to acknowledge that, man, dude, like that was better than getting an autograph, because it's like, dude, you was watching me. You know what I mean?
Right. Then he had that. Everybody said they first meet you. He had that aura glow. He wasn't floating or nothing, was he?
Oh no, he wasn't floating, but you definitely. And he was long done hooping. Like when he came to the game, he was well retired, but his presence, like certain people hold a presence, and he one of them ones, if not the one.
So. Oh wait, Blue Ball had a comment. Blue Ball, Calvin liked LeBron. I already know. He was like, he salute SB a shine. Ask Calvin, is he a LeBron hater, or do he have LeBron top 5? Laughing my butt off. Where you got LeBron rank?
I don't because my ranking is switch. Sometimes I debate the fifth final position. But LeBron definitely I'll give him, he's that interchangeable person. He could be that sixth sometimes, or that fifth.
Okay.
That's just based off of like players from the past and even players in the future. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a LeBron hater, but I do hate the debates between MJ and LeBron, because I don't think it's even close.
Respectfully. But also, now tell me the other story. So you met Jordan and you were shocked that he like knew you. I ain't gonna lie, that's probably any hooper dream, like Michael Jordan actually know and recognize you and watch you hoop. But what was another time that you met Mike? What was the other story?
The next story, we went to their crib in Skokie.
The one with the 2-3 gate? The 2-3 gate crib?
The 2-3 gate. Jeff invited me over to watch the game. This was when the Lakers with Kobe were playing against the Magic with Dwight Howard and Big Baby Davis. Big Baby. That was my roommate in the Round Ball Classic, and like my mom loved this dude.
I'll be back.
But yeah, we went out there. Dude, it was like a cool, casual type situation. But like these dudes, like when they talk about him being competitive and gambling, like he's competitive. He's a competitor.
You heard Jordan talking crazy.
They was playing spades, and sometimes they would get louder than the TV with the game on, because him, Charles Oakley, Dickie Simpkins, and another gentleman, they playing spades for a couple hundred a hand each man, and I'm like, damn, like they was going all night. we were there, like we watched the game, went and hooped on the court, came back, like they gambled. But it was a good experience, and also different because I got to see him outside of what you just see on the court or just on TV. You know what I mean? I got to see him like hanging out, chilling, doing what he do on a regular, and like until people see that side of like people that they're astounded by or love or aspire to be like, until you actually see them in that setting, you think it's a facade for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think it was great to see him like with his feet up and just hanging out. Like it lets me know like, oh, this dude not just Black Jesus, he a real dude, you know? Yeah.
But it is crazy though, because sometimes it ain't always good to meet. They always say it ain't always good to meet your idol. So sometimes it is good to see somebody.
Yeah,
right?
And that's the one thing. Like, if you liking somebody, if you feeling somebody, or you love somebody, or admire what they do, like it's good to actually meet them so you actually know. So so it was one of those experiences where I'm like, oh man, he cool. I kicked my feet up after that because he not the only. I was walking on eggshells.
He's like, I'm in my crib. Hold on.
Yeah.
So, Sean, you got a question with the Jordan thing? Anything?
No Jordan questions. I do have a NBA question for Calvin, but because I don't know how much longer he's gonna be with us. But
if you want to ask him, you can ask him now before we go, because Calvin made a point about the GOAT debate thing, and I want to get back on that. But you can ask Cal your NBA question first.
All right, so Calvin, I know you Hooper NBA fans, still probably keep up with the game.
Yeah.
What is the biggest concern for you as a former Hooper NBA fan? Is it too many threes or load management?
I just think the game since I've played it, and if you watch and know the history of basketball, it's always evolving. The game is always gonna change, but the players are the ones that are different, and the ones that solidify themselves and stamp themselves as these top tier, middle tier, lower tier, whatever level they stamp themselves or solidify themselves on. I just think the debate should be based off of a person's presence, will to not lose, and their fight. Like, it's not just based off breaking records. Anybody could break a record but not be on a championship team. Like, that's not what it's about. It's about the full body. Yeah. What are you doing? Are you putting everything on the line for your team to win? I feel like when people talk about MJ, like, they talk about how he was hard on his players, but the thing is, he's not willing to tell them to do anything that he's not willing to do or put his legacy on the line for.
Right. So you think the players today care too much about their legacy? That's why they just doing all these 3-point shooters and just comparing, like, for championships. It's a legacy thing. That's what changed the game, maybe? Why they shoot so many threes?
Oh, shooting so many threes. I think these players all think they Steph Curry. Steph Curry put up probably a couple hundred to 1,000 shots a day. That's why he able to shoot and not hold his follow through. And I think kids think like it's just going to happen overnight. You have to put in the work. You have to actually put in the time and the work to be one of those players to just throw up shots and turn around and look at the crowd and you know it's going in.
Yeah. But Cal, do you think it made it harder to change from like because you play Euro like because they say it's like just Euro style, but really just add like the speed of play. But do you think it make it harder to go away from heavy 3-point shooting teams because we just seen Boston just won heavy? They almost put up like 100 threes in 2 games not too long ago, and then you got teams like the Warriors one. So do you think it's hard to tell teams are like, hey, it's different ways to attack on the court? Maybe in the post, be a mid-range shooting team, maybe be a defensive heavy team. But since we just seen the Boston Celtics and then the Warriors going a great run, you think that's hard for teams to go away from shooting so many 3-pointers?
I don't think it's hard to go away from it. I think that'll be strictly based off the coach and management, like what style of team they want to have. I think a lot of kids do watch the game and they think like that's the way to go. But also you have to think like it's always a weakness or a way to beat somebody. So even if you're a team that where you feel like, oh, we'll have a higher success rate if we shoot more threes, but you got to think of like who's shooting the threes, the situation of when they shot the three, and what you have as a counter if those threes not going in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it like that's just based off the style of play that team want to have. But if you want to be a team like that and to be successful, you have to put those right pieces together.
Now, what we was talking about, because I think you was throwing a little bit in there about the GOAT debate. I also feel like the GOAT debate is ruining basketball because you said you got LeBron at like 5, maybe 6. So what's your 5 just for the contest? Who's the 5 greatest basketball players of all time for you?
I was saying LeBron is like my top 5 greatest players. Now GOAT debate. Well, I'll give you my top 5. My top 5. And this is tough, but like I said, it's always interchangeable. I like
obviously Mike 1. I think you got Mike 1.
Yeah, of course, MJ, Tim Duncan.
Okay.
I like Olajuwon at the 5, Tim Duncan at the 4. MJ, you could put him at the 1, 2, or 3. Kobe. Other guard, and then I'll take AI.
So
and
you rank them by position, or you rank them by making a starting 5?
Yeah, I'm doing a starting 5 by position.
Okay. So now, when it comes to the GOAT debate, the general public do LeBron and Jordan. And I feel like it got like so toxic and it is ruining basketball so much where it's like people don't even care about watching a regular game day of basketball or don't watch the regular game day of basketball, but they just do about LeBron and Jordan. And then they go tip for tap for everything. And then we also seeing it now. Obviously, you hoop with Jeff Jordan and, Marcus too. I feel like the unfairness is trickling down on like Bronny and now Marcus and Jeff because they just want to prove a point. Like I've seen people legitimately post like, all right, there's Bronny. This is what Bronny doing right now. Look what Marcus and Jeff are doing. LeBron to go because his son in the league. Or Bronny trash in the league. He can't compete. That's why Jordan to go. And I feel like it's even trickling down on them. Like I get like when your father is like LeBron or Jordan, it's going to be a high standard to live up to. But what you got to say about like the unfairness and the criticism that Bronny James and Marcus and Jeff is getting because of something stupid as like who is the greatest player in basketball?
I definitely think it's unfair to both sides. You have to think like, and a lot of people don't think about this. Like Jeff and Marcus didn't pursue basketball after college. Like they done. like of course, like they played in every All-American game, so they could have got a chance to play in the summer league. You know what I mean? They didn't pursue it because for whatever reason, that was their decision. Right. You know what I mean? Bronny's son did pursue it. Right. And I mean, like, I'm not saying it didn't help that his dad is who his dad, but if Jeff and Marcus really wanted to do that, then I'm pretty sure they would have been in the same situation as well. You get what I mean? So like, it was their decision. The fairness to compare, even with Bronny getting picked and making the league, I still feel it's unfair to both sides. Like this is what he loved, what he want to do. Even if his dad is his dad and may have a little influence in certain situations. He was the 55th pick. You know what I mean? Like,
they act like you the first pick.
Like some of the guys that they pick in the these teams nowadays, I feel like they pick now off of a young man's, and I'm just talking about NBA. I know WNBA, but I don't pay attention to all athletes individual like I NBA. But I feel like they pick based off potential or like how high the person's ceiling is. But the thing is, like, it could be a random person. They could walk in any arena. Your ceiling gonna be high because they don't know what you could do or know where you could be. But he was drafted at the 55th pick, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna play in the G League. But all these people like talking like negative about him, I feel like, come on, man, like the kid is 19 years old. Yeah. He's lucky to be alive today. You know what I mean? And like,
especially in this world,
like you got some of these guys in the first round that's trash, but we're not talking about them. We keeping it on Bronny because of who his dad is. So I feel like it's unfair to both sides, man.
Yeah. What, Sean, you got something?
Yeah, I do. I want to go back to something really quick. And again, just want to say thank you, Cal, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you taking time to join us on the pod. But
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. No, anytime, of course. Yeah, you got to come back. You definitely got to come back. But I wanted to ask you about just, the models and the game, in your game. So who did you model your game after, coming up? And the second part is there anybody you watch in the NBA today and you say they kind of remind me of how I play, coming up?
Okay, so I wasn't as athletic as him, of course, but the person I actually like wanted to play like, I'm not gonna say I modeled my game after anybody. All I knew was play hard, so I played hard. Like, even with a lot of the accolades that I've gotten over the years, like I don't feel like I was the most talented person, but I always did what I was asked of my coaches, and I always made sure I played hard. But one guy when I was in high school that I loved and I wanted to play like was Vince Carter. And Vince Carter is a guy he's not even NBA top 75. And when he first started, he was like one of the guys they were talking about, like that's the closest thing to Mike. I watch and pay attention to that, but that was one of the guys who I wanted to play like as a model of my game. I didn't model my game after anybody. I just worked hard, man. I just worked hard and wanted to play the hardest every time because you never know what could happen. And what was the second question again?
No, the second part was is there anybody you watch today and you say they kind of remind me and how I played when I was, playing and coming up?
It's a few guys. I want to say in no disrespect to him, me trying to compare myself to him.
I don't know.
I want to say like a guy like Jaylen Brown that play both sides of the ball. Any that play both sides, I rock with you because I felt like that's what I do. And the first that come to mind because he didn't get asked to play on the USA team, and I was kind of disappointed at that decision not being made. But I would say a guy like that, a guy like J.R. Smith, like that want to get the crowd into it, get the crowd hype, and play both sides of the ball, respect the game, play hard, and not try to hurt anybody while doing so.
A lot of people do that. That's true about that. A lot of people do be out there trying to hurt people.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people do. Now, Cal, I don't know how long we might got you for. At least I gotta get a little NBA out of you. Then I know.
All right.
I know you got to go soon. So, breaking news, real quick. Joel Embiid rips the criticism. He said it's bull beep. You know, you could fill in the blank with that one because him missing games. And he said he did the criticism coming from the fans, and he pretty much said he did way too much for the city of Philadelphia to be getting criticized the way he getting criticized.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair that they criticize him? Because obviously I know you had a serious injury before you tore your LCL. I know you know the struggles of trying to come back and play or playing from injuries at all. But for me, from Joel Embiid point, I'm like, bro, Joel, you missed like your first 2 seasons. They waited for you. Now they got you here, and it's actually close to a chance to winning, and you just not available. It started with the back-to-backs, and you haven't played this season. But what is your reaction to his comment? Because he was very upset in the interview, but he said he done way too much for the city. Do you agree or disagree with Joel Embiid? Or at least the criticism of Joel Embiid, or the criticism of Joel Embiid.
I think with how both sides feel, I feel like they have their right to their opinion. The fans have their right to their opinion. Joel has his right to his opinion, but where they need to find common ground is what is everything based on. The fans basing it off of the lack of him being there or being accessible for the team, and his argument is basically, I've done a lot, and he's done a lot, like when it comes to like fan base, sales and everything, but it's like, dude, like, come on. You all only get to like the first, maybe second round, and y'all do good during the season, but first, second round, and it's like everybody choking. You know what I mean?
Or he out, or he hurt,
or he hurt. And I'm not gonna say they choking, but they not getting over that hump. Because I don't want to disrespect them. Like, they hooping, but they just don't have what it take to get over that next hump to get to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just gonna be a repeating drum or back and forth drama, because both parties aren't getting what they want, but the championship.
Okay. Now, Sean, we're gonna come back to it because I know Cal got to go, so I want to get his last opinion on this one before I get up out of Cal. I know Cal, you got to go, but so the Bucks are playing terrible right now. Playing terrible. Doc Rivers ain't been doing a good job. But talk about Doc Rivers, we could probably talk about it a different day, or I'll call you. We can talk about how bad Doc Rivers is doing his job. But whatever. The Bucks are going so bad that now it's a possibility they might tank and blow up the team. And Giannis ain't say I want to be traded, but he did say if I was traded, the destination that I want to go is Miami or Brooklyn. So if Giannis was to get traded, what do you think the best situation for Giannis to go?
I think for Giannis and for whichever team he goes to, like, it's going to be a great situation. I feel like it would be better. I feel like it would be equally great or be like a rise in both him and as an organization, because I feel like if he gets traded, he gonna feel like he's one of those guys that plays hard all the time, and I feel like he gonna feel like he got a target on his, if he in a new situation. And so you get Giannis like amped up like that, like I feel like he could make a lot of things happen for an organization. So I feel like it would be good.
It go anywhere.
It would be good for him as an individual, but for the organization as well. But I feel like even like with him making that comment, that was basically him saying like, "Oh, I think I want to be here, so let's try to make some changes within before I have to leave." You know, I feel like he loves Milwaukee. You know what I mean? I feel like he loves the organization, but even with you loving the team or the organization, there's always going to be little points where you may not love as much, you know, and they just got those kinks to make sure they keep them.
All right. And if you had to pick a team, who would be the best fit for Giannis? So if you was this team, you calling to get Giannis right now, what team is that?
You talking about between Brooklyn and Miami?
No, any team.
Well, I'm just gonna keep it between Brooklyn and Miami because you brought them two up, because I could think about but he's in Milwaukee now. He in Midwest, so he's used to that dreadful winter.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Miami will probably be the best fit.
Sean like that if you go to Miami right now. Him and Bam would be crazy together.
Yeah.
But yeah, though, appreciate you, Cal, for coming into the show. Oh, before you go, can I just get, you know what I'm saying, because you know everybody need to sound like, can I just get a shout out, shout out Real Takes Over Fake Debates for us before you get up out of here?
Oh yeah, no, man, I definitely appreciate y'all for bringing me on. Like I said, man, I've been a fan for actually years, because I know Shaq for years, believe it or not. And man, I love it. SB Talks, off real debate, no fake, man. I love it.
Appreciate you, Cal. Thanks for stopping in, brother.
All right, bro.
Salute. Shout out my boy Cal. Yes, sir. Shout out my boy Cal. My boy Calvin just came in on the stream, man. So we got to get to the other guests. Shout out Cal again. And make sure you guys go back and watch and go ahead and support my boy. We got to go back to this Joel Embiid situation, right? So Joel Embiid did rip the criticism. Like I was saying, though, Sean, that my point of view is like, brother, you was the process for a reason. They was processing, you loading, downloading. You finally get here. Oh, you an MVP now. Oh, wait a minute. We might actually do something. As soon as they get close to doing something, second round exit. The closest that they truly been at winning the championship when Jimmy Butler was there. That's the healthiest Joel Embiid has been. That was close to chance. And then, you know, Ben Simmons was the basketball player during that time. But now it's like, bro, they tired of waiting, bro. They already waited enough, so you can't get mad at the criticism no matter how much you done for the city. You done everything for the city but played in the playoffs. But what's your opinion on this, though, Sean?
SB, when we did the Olympic preview, or when they did the Olympic roster, initial announcement for the Olympic roster, there were two guys I recall saying should not be on the Olympic roster. And it wasn't because they weren't great players. It was because of their injuries. It was Kawhi Leonard and it was Joel Embiid. I thought it was a terrible idea for him to play in the Olympics. But he did play in the Olympics. And he was relatively healthy from what we could tell in the Olympics. He played
every game.
Pretty much every game. I think he missed one game, but it wasn't because of health. It was just they went with a different rotation. He didn't play that game, if I recall.
Steve Kerr don't play big men.
Well, you know, he did in the Olympics. But so to come out this season, and then a couple of weeks ago, you basically come out and you announce, hey, I'm not going to be playing back-to-backs, which you should have never announced. Then to start the season, you've not played yet this season. And there's not, and it wasn't because they're not saying, oh, you have this injury. It's been really kind of ambiguous as to why you're not playing. There's got to be a certain understanding why there's some level of criticism. And again, I'm not putting all of this on Joel Embiid. Some of this is on the Sixers organization and how they've handled really announcing this. Because again, the excitement coming into this year is we got Joel Embiid. We got Paul George in free agency. We got Tyrese Maxey signed to an extension. We've built a pretty good roster around what we think are around those three guys. We should be a team competing very strong in the Eastern Conference. And yet a week and a half into the season, he's not played a game. So there are massive questions as to why, what's going on, what's going on. So I'm a little surprised that they've kind of mishandled it in that way, SB. As far as what he's done for the city, I don't want to get into that.
Right.
I think it's important not to be too self-congratulatory about the things that you've done for where you are, particularly because the big reason why you're there is to help that team win. And in Philadelphia, one of the unique things about the city of Philadelphia, in particular as it relates to sports, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, it's not about talent. It's about, are you giving 100% maximum effort when you're on the field, court, diamond, whatever. With Joel Embiid essentially announcing that he's not playing back-to-backs and has not played this season, there are going to be questions from that city, from those fans, as to what are you doing? And And for him to respond the way he's responded, it just kind of shows me either he doesn't want to get it or he's not getting it. But either way, there's a major disconnect there.
Imagine like you being cool with like even one of your homies or something. You try to call him out for being wrong. Oh man, you remember last week when I had gave you this or I looked out for you? That's pretty much all Joel Embiid did. That's like, oh, I can't call you out. I can't call you out for being wrong and tell the truth about you. Or you gonna bring up all this stuff that you did because all you pretty much did to Philadelphia. Y'all complain about me not playing games. Didn't I just donate to this place down here? Didn't I just do like no, bro? That makes you like you said, Sean. You hit it right on the head. You don't want to be too I gotta say it the nice way, but you don't want to be too full of yourself, pretty much. Like right. That's pretty much all you do. Like, nah, don't do that, brother. Because the city of Philadelphia is the reason why you're getting paid. But it's a city of brotherly love. But they won't show love if you're not trying hard. Next, speaking of another team that is not looking as good. Oh, wait, hold on, wait. Are you talking about that blue ball? Yeah, but no, it's different blue ball. Sorry about that. We had a comment. Giannis' future is in jeopardy. The Bucks don't look like a good team. I'm sorry, Sean. They don't. I think getting Dame Lillard, you're never gonna pass with that opportunity. But I think losing Drew Holiday is hurt this team more than they realize. And also, me and you both was grilling Adrian Grilling for a little while. But I'm sorry, Doc Rivers is not doing a good job with this team too. If I want to know what your opinion on the situation with Giannis, because obviously he came out and said that he might want to, if he was to be traded, he want to go to Miami or the Nets. I can guarantee you for sure he will not be on no Eastern Conference team if Giannis get traded. Giannis will be going right over there to the Western Conference. Nobody's gonna trade nobody in the East. Y'all can shut that door on that. I'm gonna tell you about teams I think should go for him, but first I want to know your opinion on the situation with the Milwaukee situation. Who's to blame, and then also where would it be the best fit for Giannis? Could it be your Heat?
I think there's a lot of blame to go around SB. It's rarely just on one person in these scenarios. Certainly, it starts with their ownership. They're owned by the Haslams now, who own the Cleveland Browns. First, then the front office has to take some of the blame for this. But I'm going to focus solely on Giannis because for as nice guy as Giannis plays with the media, with the dad jokes, and he's and I'm not saying Giannis is a bad guy. One of the things about Giannis early on that I think is kind of going away, SB, unfortunately, is Giannis seems to be the kind of guy who is a little more, I'll use the term Americanized for a guy who's considered an international player. And what I mean by that is there was a reputation that he seemed to have early on that he wasn't a guy that necessarily desired all of the lights, as Kanye song says. And you know what I mean? Like that wasn't what he was about. Right. And it seems over the last few years that he's kind of gone from this really feel-good rags to riches story to, and again, this is just perception, he's starting to look a little bit like a brat. Got to get his way or else. Yeah. And when he came out and he said, oh, if we don't, win, they're probably going to trade me. That, for me, was hedging. He was hedging his bet there. It's jumping out in front of the narrative. So it's not that I'm going to ask to be traded if we don't win, but I'm saying what the organization is probably going to do if we don't win. So it's a lot more there to Giannis than I think we probably even realize. And again, some of this may be very well just, his evolution and him becoming, again, the international superstar that he is now. We know he's one of the 3 or 4 best players in the NBA. We're not questioning that. But I do think there is some question about they thought he was a specific way in terms of personality. Right. And now there's some other things about his personality that are coming out. and it's manifesting itself in terms of how the organization operates, because they don't have to acquiesce to him.
Right. They don't.
But they do it because they want him to be happy and they want him to stay.
And remember, he also said one time, and I want you to get on this comment real quick. I'm going to pull up in a second. Remember that one time, it was like, I think a year or two after they won, remember the season, he was just like, yeah, if the Bucks ain't competing, I would want to be out. So I guess like we ain't compete for championships, he wouldn't want to be there. So he already kind of was hitting it before. Remember that he also said, maybe I come play for Chicago one day, you know. So he has been throwing like little hints in there. But also, I don't think Matthew Perry understood like your Americanized comment, because he said Americanized meaning he wants all the smoke, wants to be a diva, ? Can you explain a little bit better for Matthew Perry? Maybe.
So Matthew, when I say that, what I mean in that moment, in that sense, is that the international player has a certain perception. They generally aren't necessarily guys who rock the boat. They're not guys who are going to be overly demanding. Either publicly, they're not going to, send out a bunch of sub tweets. They're not going to, they're not going to get involved in, overly involved in organizational decisions. It's not that the organization won't ask them. It's more or less that they want to ball, they want to hoop, they want to, and then eventually kind of want to go home. Where again, the American superstar, whether fair or unfair, and it's not all American superstars, let me be very clear in that. But there are some who tend to want a little more power. They tend to want a little more say, so they tend to throw their weight around a little bit more. And in some cases, they've earned that right. But again, I think there's limits to everything. Just because you're the superstar, that's what you want, doesn't mean it's necessarily right for the team and for the franchise and for the organization.
I agree with that.
Because they're the star, they tend to want that. And I think that's the precarious place that Milwaukee is in right now with Giannis, is they have to make a decision about whether or not they believe he will continue to be the superstar in the front, the face of that organization, or do they have to make a decision and say, based on what we're spending, because they're spending a lot of money, they're a second apron team, which means
a small market team.
They're a small market team, but that second apron with this new CBA makes it very difficult for them to make a lot of moves. The only move they may have realistically to make is to trade Giannis and to try to get a haul back for him. And, they have to consider doing that sooner than later, because one of the things about being a second apron team is every year that you're in a second apron team, your future picks become first round picks become frozen, meaning you can't include them in deals. So if they're a second apron team at the end of this season, into this regular season, their 2032 first round pick becomes frozen, which means they can't trade it. And they don't have a lot of picks currently that they can trade. So their primary asset is Giannis. So, I think that's where the organization is right now. It's still early in the season. Certainly they're going to have to make some decisions. But right now, I think if you just look at the product on the court, certainly is not living up to their expectations. I know I wasn't overly high on them coming into the season, but their expectations were with Giannis, with Dame, with Doc Rivers, eventually get Chris Middleton back. They would be a team that would be right there in the championship conversation in the East. But that's just probably not realistic at this point for that franchise.
So, because I'm trying to look up teams' picks right now, but what team? Because I feel that like if even though he said Miami and the Nets, I don't think Milwaukee is going to trade him to any team in East Conference. They don't necessarily have to. And then also you got to look at the fact of like, I'm glad you brought the second apron, because this is a small market team. Small market teams usually don't spend especially this much. They'll get like they 1 or 2 stars, and then if it don't really work out, then they just trade them. But if you see Giannis getting traded, where would you see his best fit being?
Oh, it's very hard.
Or realistically seeing them going.
It's really hard to say, because I think it would have to be a team that one isn't a second apron team currently, that has contracts that they themselves can aggregate to send back to Milwaukee, but also have picks that they can send back to Milwaukee. It would take a massive package just to get Giannis. And without doing it, I have to do some real research to even see which teams are in that position. That certainly are in that position, but also may not necessarily want to mess with their core and their chemistry. So again, a team like Oklahoma City, we know they have massive assets, but they may be reticent to mess with the chemistry and the core that they have right now to go get a Giannis. It's not that Giannis isn't great. It's just how are they viewing that core they have in addition to those assets. So I would be very hard pressed to say Oklahoma City, but I would have to look around and really do some real research at kind of the roster and the assets the teams have. I'll also say really quickly, SB, if you notice this week, there have been a lot of teams, and I'll say a lot, there have been a few teams that have been declining third-year options on their first-round picks from 2 years ago. The reason why a lot of these teams are doing this is because of this new CBA. It used to be no big deal to pick up a $5.6 million or a $6 million option on a player, that might not be playing or might not be a part of your rotation. Now teams are saying we can't do that because of if you're a first apron team or you're really or close to being a first apron team or you're right on the cusp of being that second apron team, you're going to make some real decisions about what you can spend on a guy who's not playing or not a part of your current rotation. So I think you're going to start to see some real business decisions made by these NBA teams, given the restrictions in this new CBA.
For me, and people forget about that too, like the restrictions with the new CBA. If I'm looking at the blame, I kind of understand your point with Giannis because Giannis did change from how he first was in the league. Maybe winning championships and winning all that glory does make a difference. True said Spurs would be a sleeper team to get young. I don't know how him and Wemby will work together. Maybe it'll work, but never know. But for me, I think it's a lot of blame to go around. And it's funny that on Jeff T podcast, shout out Club 520, where he even made the point of saying like them losing Drew Holiday was a big hit because he wasn't like that traditional point guard. He can run the point, but Drew Holiday does everything. And he asked Dane, like, I don't understand how you play with Giannis because he said, I hate playing with Giannis. Because maybe like any point guard, like how LeBron is like a regular traditional point guard couldn't play with LeBron. I think a regular like traditional point guard really can't play with Giannis either. You got to be like that Swiss Army knife off-ball guard, but can run it and do everything like that. I just don't think him and Dame meshed. It looked good on paper, and also they don't really got the other pieces around that team too. And I think coaching is terrible. So if I had to split the blame pie, I think at the end of the day, Giannis has started a team. He got to do better carry, which he's doing a solid job. But he didn't really add too much else extra to his game. I'll say like 30% Giannis, maybe like another 30 on the team. Then the rest got to go to probably Doc and the coaching staff. I'm sorry, at the end of the day. And then you could blame Giannis for switching up the coaches because he didn't get Griff a chance. I don't know what happened. But you also said before the show, which I kind of do agree with too, that if Giannis keep this up, he's gonna have a reputation that he's a coach killer. And you don't want that reputation as a player, especially as a star player. But also, Sean, if I had to pick a team, it's not going to be an Eastern team. I know y'all Miami Heat would love to see Giannis in Miami. I don't see the Bucks trade him to a Western Conference team. OKC will make the most sense because they got the assets, but I don't think it's worth ruining that team chemistry and trading all that young pieces that they got. I think they're fine the way they are. And especially a year like this, let's see how far this team really can go and see what this team can really do. I believe they're number one in the West right now. I was just looking at, yes, they are number one in the West right now. They undefeated. So if I take, I'm excluding OKC out. True, that was where the good Picky says the front office should get most of the blame. I agree on that. The Spurs would be a good sleeper. I think the Golden State Warriors probably be, but I don't know what their money, like you said, I got to do my research, so I don't know what the Golden State Warriors money's looking like right now. But you got a young star, Kuminga, who's got a lot of potential. Steve Kerr don't want to play him, so you got him. You can get rid of maybe another player off the bench, and you got all your picks within the next couple years. So I can see the Warriors making that happen. And then maybe he could fit in with Steph too. And it's tough to look at, like you said, because you got to know what everybody's money situation are. And I'm going to say maybe the Rockets, because I'm thinking of teams, like you said, is maybe got picks and young players. Because a team like Milwaukee going to want picks and young players. So Lakers, you could cut that out. Mavericks ain't going to get them. The Suns ain't going to get them. T-Wolves, no. Grizzlies, no. Nuggets, no. Kings, no. So then it just leave like the Clippers, definitely not. So it leave teams like the Jazz, Spurs, maybe the Pelicans or the Rockets. But I think the most realistically, I can see like maybe the Warriors or the Rockets trying to get Giannis. And I can see that happening. OKC, I don't think they'll do that because I don't think it's worth giving up the young core that you got, because the core is good as it is. And your picks are asset. I feel like if you're gonna make that trade, make it for somebody who actually gonna fit with the team and don't change like the dynamic of the squad. But Sean, we got to get into the NFL real quick. So another day, another story about the Cowboys. So Trevon Diggs was on Michael Parsons' podcast. So, you know, and this is why I think the only problem with athletes having a podcast or podcast during the season will come to play and it be a problem. This exact situation. Anything else I'm cool with, you know, I want to hear your inside perspective of how you feel about the game during that time, whatever. This is the only time it's going to be a problem. So Diggs and Parsons was on the podcast. He actually named the top 10 quarterbacks. They named their top 10 quarterbacks, and it was glaringly and clearly a quarterback name was missing. Their own quarterback, Dak Prescott. And if I go back to the list of what they had, I still can't believe they did that. Because like even when I know like athletes where it's like people cap for their teammates all the time. People to be like, oh yeah, my quarterback, the best quarterback in the league, Dak, you got to put Dak in their top 5. But they didn't do that. They just left him out. But why I look up the quarterbacks that was all named. What you think about this? What was your reaction to this? I laughed at first because it's the Cowboys, but I think this is a problem.
SB, I would just say really quickly, I think part of the issue comes into place where this is a different age in terms of media, in that the athlete does not necessarily need a platform or a particular correspondent or particular journalist to give them, you know, a chance or a place to speak on issues and things. When you are in a locker room, and if you've ever been in a locker room, you know, a locker room is a locker room will be a pretty safe place, right? Right. That's the one place where you're supposed to know we're all here basically for the same reason, same thing. Mm-hmm. When you do this kind of stuff outside of the locker room or when you come in the locker room, how does it mess with team chemistry? Mm-hmm. You know, does it do anything? I would tell any athlete, if you're a podcaster, to just do it during the off season. Mm-hmm. Just to avoid these type of things. That's my general answer. Now, specific to Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs, Dak is not having a top 10 quarterback season.
No, he's not.
The Cowboys are having nowhere near a top 10 anything season. Not anything good. So were they incorrect in what they said? No. Should they have said it?
No. Or at least throw him at 10 just to be like, you know, our boy Dak.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, even if you don't think he's having a top 10 season, or you think it's not 10 other guys who are, that's still that guy is going to make sure y'all keep getting checks. Right? That's the quarterback. Show him some love. Even if he isn't, just fake it.
Fake it, yep. Everybody else do. I see people cap for their teammates all the time.
Yeah. So, you know, that's all. That's my only thing with that.
So let me go back to the article that I was looking at. So the quarterbacks that they named, because it started from talking about rookie Jaden Daniels, and they were saying that he playing like a top 5 quarterback right now, which you could argue because he's in the MVP conversation. Because Michael Parsons was arguing that he should be top 10. Diggs said he's top 5. So the quarterbacks that they named over Dak was Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold, Jared Goff. Jared Goff is on here too.
Yes.
Who else am I missing? Josh Allen. And I think that's 10. If I'm not going to be wrong, but just know Dak wasn't on that list for sure. I can go back to I want to go to the short that I got up here. But like you said, though, I have to agree with you from the point of that. Okay, yeah, I got the picture right here. So it's Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, and Sam Darnold, all ranked above, ranked above Dak, which is like you said, fake it. It's mid-season. You don't pose it. I done seen teammates where I know they on their point guard ain't the best point guard in the league, but they're like, yeah, he the best point guard in the league. Or the best wide receiver. Oh, he the best quarterback in the league. This. Because they always do that. Like, oh, I got to put my guy in the lineup. So I didn't know if they got like too caught up about like just being podcasters. Like, hey, bro, you mid-season going through this. So it's like, or let's say, or, Sean, because you did call they owner, the Kanye West of ownership. Maybe they just pulled the Jerry Jones. They learn from their ownership. Because this is, you can't tell me after hearing what they just said that ain't Jerry Jones-esque of what they just said. That was some Jerry Jones thing to say right here, not to rank your quarterback top 10 just because it's gonna get clicks and views, which it did. Everybody up in arms about it, which they were. Did they lie? No, but I don't think it's something that you shouldn't say. Just like the same thing Jerry Jones shouldn't say when he was with Jamie Foxx, but that was
right. And again, I think what it's going to create is a deeper conversation about. I don't think these teams necessarily want to prevent guys from pursuing things that they're interested in outside of the game. But are those pursuits potential distractions to you're doing your job and you're doing what the team necessarily is trying to accomplish? I think that's where it's going to start to become a much more interesting conversation.
You see the NBA changed the rule about phones, no phones. And during game time, locker room, halftime, no phones. I think it's like at a certain point when it gets to like shoot around time like that, you can't have your phone no more. And you don't get it back unless it's like an emergency. It's like one person gonna have the phone. Unless it's an emergency, you won't see your phone till like after the game and when you finna leave the stadium because of people doing stuff like that in the locker room and all that.
SB, I tell you, I think, and again, this is a much deeper conversation, but I think that's one thing as a society that we have gotten so wrapped up in the last 15 years or so is we are so connected to our phone. I have a general thing. I don't even take my phone into my bedroom. Like it literally stays in my office for that very reason, just because I know I can disconnect. So the fact they have to put a rule in place so people will get off their phones, is
Yeah. Do you remember the story that Chauncey Billups said about that? It was like one player, one rookie, he had a dunk, and then at halftime he went and posted on his social media during the halftime. He like, bro, we down 20. Why are you worried about posting your dunk highlight on your phone? What's wrong with you, man?
You remember Victor Cruz?
Yeah, I remember Victor Cruz, the salsa at the touchdown guy. Yeah.
You know Victor Cruz' rule about doing the salsa dance? He would never do it when he scored a touchdown and they were losing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was his rule.
Hey, man, somebody highlight double check that. I gotta look that down there. I gotta go to Victor Cruz highlight tape. If I don't see no salsa, I bet they was losing.
Yeah, that was his rule. And his general rule was because we're losing.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, if we're up or we tie the game, that's different. But if we're losing, not doing the salsa dance.
Can't do the salsa dance. But Sean, I want to do a mid-season review because we're getting around that close of the time of the season. I feel like we at week
9, so we're
week 9 trade deadline. We coming up. Let's do like a little mid-season review. We don't got to go too in depth. Maybe go more in depth on Monday because I'm here. Calvin on. We had a guest on today, so we ain't got that much time left. But I just wanted to do let's do some that you're most shocked about, some that you're most disappointed about, and who your favorite right now to win. That's just to do that 3. So, what team are you most shocked about right now?
Shocked in terms of how good they are or how bad they are?
How good they are. We're gonna do disappointed for bad, but yeah, how good they are.
Washington. Very surprised at Washington. I don't think many of the prognosticators coming into the season had Washington doing what they're doing. So definitely Washington. Now, can they maintain it and sustain it through the rest of the season? Of course, remains to be seen. But that Washington team is very, very good, and if they make the playoffs, they're going to be a very tough out. I really believe that.
I would not want to play them. Most team you're disappointed in, that they're doing bad.
Team I'm most disappointed in, I would say Tennessee. I had higher expectations for Tennessee. I thought their defense was really good, which ironically, the defense was ranked number 1 in the NFL before last week. But their offense is so bad.
Terrible.
Yeah, Will Levis has been a disaster, even with having Calvin Ridley and previously DeAndre Hopkins and Tyler Boyd and Tony Pollard in the backfield and Tajay Spears and pretty decent. So Tennessee will probably be my biggest disappointment.
And if you had to pick a favorite today, who is your favorite to win it all?
The Chiefs are still in the NFL.
Don't remind me.
Yeah.
Don't remind me.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, my most shocking team, I will have to I can't deny the fact of it. And I have to agree with you on that. It's definitely the Washington Commanders. If I would have told anybody the Washington Commanders would be leading the division with the Eagles in there after they just got Saquon Barkley, and people would have said the Cowboys, they thought the Cowboys would be solid. They'll laugh at me. But I have to be honest. This Commanders team is very good. Daniels is outstanding. And right now, even though, Caleb Williams here in Chicago, but that award is Daniels to lose. At this point, he's going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year by a landslide. And if he keep this up and they actually win the division, don't be surprised you're talking about him winning the MVP his rookie season. I doubt they give it to him because, the politics.
He's not winning MVP.
No, they ain't going to give it to him. They going to be, hey, look, Lamar, I don't want the award. Lamar, I don't want the award no more. I want to win. No, Lamar, we not giving it to a rookie. You finna take this award again. They just throw it to Lamar. Here you go. Lamar's the default guy. If all else fails, we're going to get Lamar the MVP. Lamar might lead the NFL with 7 MVPs. I ain't going to even lie to you. My most disappointing team, the team that I want to say, but I'm not going to do it because they had a certain situation happen with their quarterback. That's why they was bad with the Dolphins with Tua. So I'm gonna give them put a little star or a little asterisk next to them because I wasn't gonna put them on my list. But I have to go the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry, the Cleveland Browns. I know Deshaun Watson just got hurt, but they wasn't playing good before. They wasn't playing good when he was healthy. I thought this was gonna be the year Deshaun Watson actually turned it around. I knew Nick Chubb was going to be out for a minute, so I knew it was going to be tough, but I trusted in that defense, and I figured that all Deshaun Watson had to do was just play average or a little bit above average, and he couldn't do that. So I ain't gonna lie, I'm highly disappointed in the Browns. I had higher expectations. I think it's a waste of a solid defense. But, yeah, that's for me. And my favorite, I'm not going to say the Chiefs, no matter what. I'm not going to say the Chiefs. I don't care if they undefeated. Char. My favorite right now is the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry. They gotta add a pad rusher. We can talk about this more on Monday. We do a little more review of it. But the Detroit Lions is the truth, Sean. And I don't know what happened in this last offseason or who made their offensive coordinator mad. But he came in here with the blaze of glory and just being totally disrespectful, running touchdown passes for offensive linemen, running back, throwing quarterback passes, even though Montgomery used to be a quarterback. And also, I got a theory for you. I'll let you sit on it because I know I'll let you sit on it to Monday and tell me what you think about it. I know everybody's been saying like the Myles Garrett because the Lions do need a pass rusher for Aiden Hutchinson. I think the Lions should call your team, the Saints, and I think they could get him for the low, even though I know y'all just got him, and ask for Chase Young.
Oh, I agree. Because Chase Young's been he's not been very good in New Orleans.
Ain't nothing going on good anymore. Maybe he go in a different situation. He look good. Maybe. I think that's the cheapest pass rusher they could probably get. And nice, young, talented, already on a really contract. So it's like, I think that's the best cheap pass rusher they could get. They could probably get Chase Young right now for like a 5th or a 6th right now.
I mean, he's only on a 1-year contract. So yeah, I do think he could be had for a cheap deal, a cheap pick. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on the Lions. Obviously, Ben Johnson is on a mission. If the rumors were true last offseason when he was interviewing with teams for head coaching jobs, one of the sticking points was that he wanted a contract in the $15 million a year range as a head coach. I think he's, driving his price up with some of the stuff he's doing this year.
It's going to be 18 now.
Yeah. I mean, he's literally coaching with 2 middle fingers up on the side. So now that said, they're about to hit an interesting part of their schedule, I believe, starting this Sunday. And I know we got some games to review, and that is one of the key games of the week that we have to review because I think that's the biggest game of the weekend, to be honest. But but Detroit's going to be right there in the conversation. Certainly, I don't disagree with you on that.
Oh yeah. So now, sir, I'm glad you brought up about the key games of the week, but it is the best time of the show.
SB and Sean NFL picks of the week.
I know we didn't really kind of talk about our key games, but how many key games did you write down? I could probably guess.
We have 4 key games this week.
Lions and Packers.
Well, right. we won't even go into that.
Okay, we'll just call it regularly down the middle. But I would say I know you will. I probably know the 4 you pick. Looking at the schedule, I definitely know probably the 4 you pick for sure.
We'll see, but that was definitely one of them. That's definitely one of them.
I would just say key game if I get it right. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. But okay, let's go ahead and go down the list. What we got, Sean?
All right. So first game, we're picking Miami at Buffalo.
This was one of your key games because Tua was back.
No.
Oh, well, okay. Well, maybe I don't know you, but okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm picking the Bills, man. I'm going to Bills. Even though Tua is back, I don't really trust him yet. Josh Allen is looking good, but yeah, I'm going to go the Bills.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills as well. The game's in Buffalo. This is a big game, I think, for Miami because if Miami finds a way to win, I think they can still make a push potentially for a wild card. But if they lose this game and go down, they'll be 5.5 games back in the division to Buffalo if they lose this game because Buffalo owns the tiebreaker. So I'm going to say Miami does not win this game and it's Buffalo by 10. Okay. Next game, Dallas at Atlanta.
You ain't picked this as a key game, did you?
I did.
I know why you did this because it's because of the comment that he got to be like a top 10 quarterback after this game. He got to, but I made the mistake and I lost last week because I went against my better judgment and I picked the Cowboys. I will not be doing that same mistake again because now we tied up now, right? It's 4-4, right?
Yes.
See, because I got a little too spicy. I'm picking the Falcons. I'm not picking the Cowboys ever again. And if the defense don't believe in the quarterback, why should I? If the defense don't believe in the quarterback, why should I? Dak, I'm sorry, Dakota. Can't do it.
Falcons coming off a big road win last week in Tampa. Their offense was very explosive. Kyle Pitts had a pretty explosive game. Kirk Cousins had a pretty explosive game throwing the football. But this is the week of Bijan against that Cowboys run defense, which we know isn't very good. Also, I think the key matchup to watch is how do the Falcons secondary cover CeeDee Lamb? We know they got A.J. Terrell, who's an all-pro corner. Does he travel with CeeDee? Do they use a lot of bracket coverage with safety help over the top with Jesse Bates and with Justin Simmons? So it'll be really interesting to see how the Falcons game plan for this game, because if we're being honest, the Cowboys offense really hasn't shown much else outside of Dak to CeeDee this year. So that said, I'm taking the Falcons at home. I'm gonna take the Falcons. Don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I'm gonna take the Falcons by 6.
Anybody who do all you fan duels or draft for the past picks, and you bet if you want to sponsor the podcast, that was just an open invitation. Sponsor the pod, but take Bijan for 2 touchdowns or guarantee anytime touchdown. Bijan is definitely gonna score. You want the yardage to do about 150 and a touchdown. Lock it in. But okay, what's next, Sean?
Next game, Las Vegas Raiders at Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals will be without T. Higgins and without Zach Moss on offense.
This one is a tough one to call. I'm gonna go Cincy. I'm gonna go Bengals only because they're at home. I think the Bengals even without T, I think they should be fine to beat the Raiders. I'm gonna go Bengals only because they're at home.
This game scares me.
It does. It scares me a lot because I can see the Raiders winning, and why I'm also picking against the Raiders. So I kind of have to.
Yeah,
it could go either way though. I can see the Raiders coming in Cincy and winning.
I could see them coming in and stealing a game that nobody expects them to win. Obviously, they were able to go into Baltimore earlier in this season and steal one.
Well, don't bring that up. Tiffany gonna have a feelings hurt. Don't bring that up.
Well, I mean, it's just the reality. But that said, the Raiders are the Raiders' number one goal should be at this point is let's play the rest of the season out, see what young guys we can take forward, and try to be in the best position to draft a quarterback in 2025.
Tank for Shador.
Yeah, or Cam. So, but I'm gonna take Cincinnati at home. I'm gonna take Cincinnati at home by 5.
All right, Sean, we're gonna have to disagree at some point now.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming. You gotta take that risk.
It's coming. Next game. This one should be close to your heart. LA Chargers at the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, shout out to Tiffany. She's our Raven fan. She comes support us all the time. Shout out to you, Tiffany. My team is gonna show you what you're supposed to do. Bolt up. We're going to take the Chargers. We're going to come to Cleveland and win in Cleveland. And even though I think Jameis is going to do his thing again. Shout out famous Jameis. But Jay Herbo going to show y'all what y'all supposed to have done. Give me the Chargers. Chargers by a touchdown.
You taking the Chargers?
It's going to be a low-scoring game, by the way. It's probably going to be like –
I think this is going to be a nasty dog fight of a game. This is going to come down to Chubb and Jerome Ford. And obviously, the Chargers' ability to run the football. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be in Cleveland this weekend, but just the mentality of these two teams and how they really want to play. I don't expect Cleveland to come out on a lot of spread. Look, I think they're going to line up and try to play smash mouth football against this Chargers team, and the Chargers are going to do the same against that Cleveland defense.
That's all I learned about Harbaugh, too. Like, Harbaugh do not want to be a high-scoring game, never. He just wants, like you said, smash mouth football. That's what I really learned. I'll be wondering, like, bro, you got to let Justin Herbert let that thing fly, but I can't complain because we had a coach who used to let that thing fly on 4th and 12 in his own 20. So,
yeah,
I'll be cool with that.
I'm going to take Cleveland at home by 3.
Okay, let's go. That's the first one. That's
the next game.
That's the first one.
Next game, New England at Tennessee. This might be the worst game of the weekend.
It might be, and it's hard to predict on this one because this is like the Bengals and Raiders game. I can see the Titans hold it down, and I also can see the Patriots win. They did just beat the Jets, even though the Jets are trash.
I know. Last night on Thursday Night Football.
I don't know how they did that. Just like I don't know how Gary Wilson caught that pass. Last time I picked the Patriots, they sold me, True, and I told you, True, I wasn't picking your Patriots again. But then it's like, do I trust the Mr. Mayonnaise?
Well, he's not starting. It should be Mason Rudolph as the starter.
He's even worse. I forgot Mason Rudolph. Who you going? Who you going with?
I'm taking the Patriots.
Okay, just for the suspense, I'll take the Titans.
All right.
Because I don't think we're going to pick nowhere else different.
I think we're going to have a couple more, but that's just me.
I feel like this Titan one going to bite me later. This Titan one going to bite me, this Titan pick.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots. I just think they are a little more crazy. They're a little more disciplined and
better coach team.
And they seem to be the better coach team. And they did get a big win last week. I expect them to try to carry that over this week and win 2 in a row. So I'm taking the Patriots. Right. Next game, Washington Commanders at the New York Giants.
We ain't got to waste time on this with Commanders. We can just go ahead. We can move on. I know you're picking the Commanders.
Yeah, I expect even though I will say that first game was very close.
Mm-hmm.
The one they played in Washington was very close early in the season. That said, I just think the Commanders have, coming off of last week, big, late second win last week. I think they get back. And I will say their defense the last 3 weeks has played really well.
Really well. Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll try to carry that into next week, into Sunday. So I'm taking the Commanders in New York by 7.
Okay.
Next game, New Orleans at Carolina. This might be the second ugliest game this week.
It is.
Derek
I know.
Be back. So
Derek Vehicle back. Oh man.
Yeah.
I already took my risky pick was on the Titans. I'm not taking 2, and I know you picking the Saints. I just can't trust Carolina. I don't trust neither one of these teams. This is I don't trust nobody week because there's a lot of 50-50 games on here. So I'm going to go along with you. I'm going to pick the Saints. I already used my risky pick already on the Titans. I ain't taking 2. I'm going to take the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Saints. This was a blowout early in the season, but obviously it's not the same Saints team from game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Starting Bryce Young. Bryce played pretty well last week. Not perfect, but he played okay. But I'm going to take the Saints in Carolina by 4.
And don't be surprised in this offseason if Bryce Young not on the Carolina Panthers again, because I heard rumors again they thinking about moving him again. I think it's going to be a mistake that they do that but we'll see. But what's next?
Next game, Denver Broncos at the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely picking it. I hope the Ravens blow them out because I need them to lose because they're second in the division right now against my Chargers. I'm taking the Ravens. Ravens, get the job done. Please get the job done. In Baltimore, y'all lost a close game at the Browns. I need y'all to go and make an example out of these guys. I want the Ravens back. I want the Ravens about 2 touchdowns. I need a blowout. I maybe 3. I need y'all need to be mad. Y'all lost to the Browns. Jameis Winston game time bomb. I want the defense to shut down Bo Nix. Because now I don't need Bo Nix to do good. I got Justin Herbert on the fantasy team. It took a while for me to let Goddard go. I mean, I said not Goddard. The tight end though, Dallas. It took me a minute to let him go, Sean, but I let him go. So I need an example made out of these different Broncos. So I'm taking the Ravens.
I will say Denver's defense has played very well to start the season. They are number 1 in pass rush win rate among NFL teams. Baltimore, obviously got some concerns defensively as well.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Baltimore rarely, if ever, loses 2 in a row. They did lose 2 in a row to start the season, of course, but otherwise, this is just not traditionally who they are. They are at home. I think this is going to be a bit of a slugfest game.
Mm-hmm.
My big question for this game, I did have this as a key game. Before the beginning of the season, I would not have had this as a key game, looking at the schedule in advance. But given their records, this is a key game. I do wonder if Baltimore can get enough pressure on Bo Nix. What you don't want to do is let him get too comfortable back there. In the last couple of weeks, he's gotten really comfortable back there. So Baltimore really needs to be in attack mode. But they're at home. I'm taking the Ravens at home by 6.
And then catch an interception. Like, Jesus, catch an interception.
Well, and I'll say this real quick. In that Cleveland-Baltimore game, both quarterbacks threw balls that should have been intercepted at one point. So it wasn't just, I know everyone wants to, use the, Jameis, and okay.
Cal Hamilton should have caught that pass.
Yeah, but Lamar had one earlier, too, that should have been picked off as well. So it's every quarterback does it, y'all. Let's not lose our minds. Like, it happens. Like, okay. All right.
What's
next game? Chicago Bears at the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, I think this gonna be a good game. This is gonna be a good game. Ooh. Call of Duty is out. I'm sorry, Kyle. I always do that joke. That joke go last forever. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna go with the hometown. I'm gonna go with the hometown team. I'm gonna take the Bears. I think the Bears get it done. This is the win I think they need, and I think this win will help Caleb, especially coming off that loss they had, that tough loss they had against the Commanders last week, losing on the Hail Mary. Is definitely. And also, Sean, we talked about Ben Johnson. Wants some money. I'm just saying. It's a job in Chicago going to be real available after this offseason because he refused that man. That he has not been doing a good job with this team. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm taking the Bears.
I'm taking Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Bears, it was a tough loss for the Bears last week, obviously, but they really weren't playing that, and the passing game really wasn't clicking last week for them. I don't know if it gets back on track this week. I know DeAndre Swift had a couple really nice runs last week, but I think Arizona coming off of again second win in Miami last week, coming back home. I just think they got something, and they were a team last season. They were 2-5 in one-score games. This year, they've done a better job of figuring out how to win the close games. I think it's going to be a very close game. I'm going to give Arizona the slight advantage at home. So I'm going to take the Cardinals by 2.
Okay.
Next game, Doug Peterson reunion game. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Philadelphia Eagles.
And this would be a game that Philly will mess around and choke, too. This would be the game that Philly mess around and choke, too. But I'm not taking that chance. I don't trust the Jaguars this year. A lot of question marks everywhere with this team this season. Sometimes they look good, sometimes they look bad. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles.
I'm taking the Eagles as well. I think the last few weeks they've kind of figured out a formula offensively. Jalen Hurts is taking much better care of the football than he was early in the season, not taking, the risky sacks, fumbles, and certainly not, throwing as many interceptions as he was. I don't think he's out. As a matter of fact, I don't think he's had a turnover in the last 3 weeks. They figured out, hey, we're going to be a run, we're going to be a play action, we're going to try to beat you one-on-one deep with AJ and with Devontae. Their defense has played really well, particularly in the second half last week against Cincinnati. They're at home. I'm taking the Eagles at home by 8.
Okay.
Next game, Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh. Well, this is the game
of the weekend for me.
This is the game. I will be locked in on this game more than any game, even more than my Chargers versus the Browns game. I will let you know that. I just said they was the favorites. Oh my God, they going to Green Bay though. That playing in Green Bay, people don't realize it's hard to win in Green Bay.
Yes.
It's legitimately hard to win in Green Bay. I'm sorry. Anybody else tell you something different, they're lying. If any player, especially in the NFC, they'll tell you going to Lambeau is probably one of the hardest places to win that. I did just say they're my Super Bowl favorite, so I'm gonna stick with them. I'm nervous about this pick though, Sean. I'm gonna go Lions. I'm gonna go Lions. I think the Lions probably going by like 3 by a field goal. It's going to be that close. Unless Jordan Love don't play like he's supposed to play. That's the only thing that'll change to make it easy for the Lions.
Well, as of right now, Jordan Love is listed as questionable. I think he had limited practice today. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play. Mm-hmm. If he does play, Jordan Love, do not turn the football over.
Hey, dog, you been cursed ever since you wore that jersey, dog. I'm not going to even hold you. Ever since you wore that jersey, he been cursed.
Yeah. And I will say this. If Jordan Love is not able to play, Malik Willis has played very well for them. They're not scoring as many points, but the element he brings with his running ability, and he can hit the explosive plays. So even if Jordan Love doesn't play, I'm taking the Packers at home.
Okay. I can respect that. Picking the Packers at home.
Yeah, I think this game is super important, not just because of the division, but also these right now are probably the 2 teams that are competing for that 1 seed in the NFC, realistically. So this game is going to have some real implications, later in the season. So I'm going to take the Packers at home by 3.
Okay.
Next game, LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks.
This is going to actually be a good game, too.
No DK Metcalf.
Still out.
Yeah, no fan for the Seahawks this week.
This week is full of scary games. Like anybody can win. If you a sports bettor, do not vote on any money line games. Do not take any game against any, because anybody can win this week. I'm sorry. I'm only gonna take the Seahawks because they're at home. I'm literally only taking the Seahawks because they're at home. I truly don't know.
Seattle has been the most frustrating team to me this year to pick their games, because I don't know. I never know which, particularly their defense. They got the worst first down defense in the NFL. They give up over 7 yards on first down, which means they're in second and short, and obviously third and short a lot defensively. They got to get that fixed. Mike McDonald's got to get that fixed. Can they run the football enough? And I'm not sure how the weather's going to be. Last week the weather wasn't great, but Buffalo went in and played like they were at home in Seattle. I'm taking the Seahawks because they're at home too, but this pick does not make me overly comfortable.
No, I'm not comfortable with that pick,
because the Rams are a team that they can explode at any moment. But I'm gonna take Seattle at home, just because again they are at home.
Okay.
So, next game, Sunday night game, Indianapolis Colts at the Minnesota Vikings. Joe Flacco starting for the Indianapolis Colts.
The old man is off the couch again. I am taking the Vikings. I'm going with the best defense in football, and I'm gonna stick with them. I don't care what the numbers say. The Vikings are the best defense in the football. I'm going to take them. I don't care who you get. Old man Joe. They lucky Anthony Richardson wasn't playing, because it'd have probably been a blowout. They would have got a couple picks. But he will say he's tired, so that's a different story for a different day. But I'm taking the Vikings.
I got a strange feeling that this is an upset game for the Vikings. I think the Colts have shown with Joe Flacco this season their offense can be pretty explosive. Jonathan Taylor can run well. Their defense has played, pretty well as well. And Minnesota has come back down to earth these last weeks, particularly that game against the Rams. Even though, again, there was a late missed call. They're coming off a mini bye. I'm not going to be crazy. I'm taking Minnesota at home.
No, take the Colts. Take the Colts, Sean.
No, I'm taking Minnesota at home.
Go ahead, take the Colts, Sean. Come on.
Because I had to remember the Vikings have been off for like a week and a half. So I'm going to take them. By 4.
How many games do we pick different so far?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
4.
Okay.
Yeah,
4. Okay.
And then the last game, Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Kansas City Chiefs.
I've been rocking with Big Baker all this season. It hurts my heart to pick this team, but I'm not stupid. I'm not picking against the Kansas City Chiefs at home. They fit it, man, bro. I don't understand it. I don't. The team don't got as many weapons as they used to get, and they just find a way to win every game. This like, I believe they should have one of the best records in the league in the AFC. But to still be undefeated like the way they undefeated is crazy. I didn't walk into the season saying, hey, man, by the time week 9 come, Chiefs is going to be undefeated. I didn't say that. Right. I didn't see that happening. But I can't pick against them, bro. It hurts my heart to pick them, but I'm picking the Chiefs. I can't pick against the Chiefs, man. It's ugly, man.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game where, again, it kind of feels like the Chiefs' defense is going to be the major player. Bucs defense showed some holes last week. Kirk Cousins was able to carve them up in Tampa. You know, I expect the Chiefs to come out with some similar looks that Atlanta used last week as well. Going to see the continued emergence of DeAndre Hopkins in that offense. Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs at home by 7.
Yeah, I can't pick against them, bro. No matter how much I want to, I can't pick against them, dog. I can't do it. So we got 4 games. Hopefully, we don't run into a tiebreaker. We'll go 2-2. Yeah, because I'm not changing none of my picks. Only one that I'm nervous about is that Titans one. I'm not gonna lie. That Titans pick is hurting my soul a little bit, but we gonna rock with it. The score of the game gonna be 3-6, but hopefully the Titans have 6. That's all we gonna hope for. But this has been another great episode of Real Takes Over Fake Debates. Sean, we are at episode 14, season 2. Who do you got?
I got 2 guys, throwbacks. I got Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose.
Okay.
Rose. And I got one close to your heart, SB.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Fouts.
Oh, I like that. I like the Dan Fouts one. Okay. Look at these showing the charge love. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, you took one of my picks.
Also, shout out to Bob Cousy.
Shout out, big Coos. Well, Dan Fouts was one of my picks. But I'm gonna go a little bit different. Let me see who else wore number 14. Oscar Robertson wore 14? No, they want Oscar. Yeah, he did. Wow, I didn't know that. I'm gonna go Big O then. I'm gonna take Big O. I'm gonna take Oscar Robertson. I didn't know that. I thought his number was always 0. That's like when I say 14, I was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, I'm gonna go Big O and Dan Fouts too. Yeah, you took my pick. I was definitely going the Chargers route. You took my pick. But appreciate you guys for listening, watching. We're growing as much as we're growing by the day. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you guys go subscribe on the other platforms too, Apple, iHeart, Spotify. Shout out Calvin Brock for taking time out and coming on to the show. We appreciate you, Cal. We would definitely love to have you back on again. And let us know, guys, who you want us to see else as a guest on here. We trying to get everybody, reporters, former players, current players. We take whatever. So let us know. And this has been another great episode of Real Takes Over Fake Debates with SB and Sean. And we I hit the wrong button. And we are out of here. See y'all later. Peace.
Real takes over fake debates.
Rucker Man.